Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is Greenleaf Season 2, Episode 2, and the name of this episode is Strange Bedfellows. Yeah, yeah. This was a really good episode, y'all. It's like, man, Season 2 is really starting off with a bang. Let me get started. Um, the episode opens up with Lady May and the Bishop. Um, we pretty much from this conversation we now know that Bishop Skanks has told her about Bishop Skanks and that he was pretty much the son of Daryl James, the guy who died in the fire of um of the old church back in '83. Uh, Lady May is adamant that the bishop talks to Jacob and that he tells Jacob the truth about Bishop Skanks and who he is. Because it's plainly obvious Jacob is being used as a pawn to take down the bishop and to take down Calvary. And then we also see that they also are babysitting the baby. The baby's crying, and then Jacob's like, "Where is that boy's father at?" And we see that Kevin is actually staying in the hotel, and we can definitely tell that there's definitely some dissonance still between him and Charity. Next, we actually see Sophia and Zora, and we see that Sophia has a crush on that boy Isaiah, and Isaiah was the boy that was performing at the groundbreaking Triumph event the last episode. He also used to be on Disney Channel too. I definitely remember him being on Dancing with the Stars. I actually had someone who reminded me in the comments last week about this guy. He's actually really talented. But the thing is, he's a part of Triumph as well. They actually see that he's going to be performing at Triumph. Zora is trying to get Sophia to talk to him, but Sophia is shy and she's pretty much she has a crush on the boy, so she's kind of giddy, like I don't know. Zora takes her phone and actually messages and pretty much messages him. Pretty much sends him a message to see can she come by the rehearsal to hang out with him. And she's like, look. And then that Zora, she's a mess. Because immediately she starts going in like, look, all I'm saying is that closed mouths never get fed. And you all are going to miss me when I'm gone. Zora is a mess. Zora is such a trip, but Zora is so fast and she's really obnoxious. But yeah, we actually see that going on, and then of course Grace broke it up and said it's time for you guys to get ready for school. Next we actually wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, that happened. Uh, Next, we actually see that Grace actually goes to meet with the bishop and Lady May. Lady May holds no punches to let her know that she needs to fire Carlton. That the pledges are down, the deacons aren't making their pledges, and one of the biggest contributors, Betty Wilcox, she stopped contributing. So now the pressure's on Grace to get rid of Carlton, and Grace does not want to get rid of Carlton because Carlton is doing a great job, and Carlton's a good person, and why are we going to get rid of him just because he's gay? And then, we can definitely see that Lady May is all about getting this money. And she will sell Carlton down the river if it means it's going to save Calvary. Because that's just how Lady May is. And Lady May pretty much says that, look, you don't have no much time to waste. Either you fire him or I will. Either way, it's going to be done. But how the way she summoned Grace to her office, she gave Grace these angel wings. It's as soon as Grace saw that, she's like, oh, Mom wants to see me. And I'm like, when people would normally send a text or a call, she will send a gesture, and pretty much Grace immediately is just fast on her toes, so she knew exactly what it meant. So she pretty much was like letting it be known that, yeah, you have to get rid of Carlton. So because of this, we actually see that Grace calls Darius, who's a reporter, and she pretty much lets him know that she may have a scoop for him. But then he also asks, can they go out with each other? And she at first hesitates, but then later on, she agrees to meet with her. But yeah, Darius is actually played by Rick Fox, and just pretty much just from the start, you can tell that there's some chemistry between the two of them. So we're gonna see what goes on with that. Next, we have a scene with Jacob and Basie Skanks. They're at Triumph. Bishop Skanks is actually listening to this girl rehearse. He's getting his life listening to her. Jacob comes in. They talk business, but then Jacob is pretty much upset because he just threw him out there that he was going to be the head of Triumph. They never had a conversation about it. They never actually had a sat down, or they never discussed him being an associate pastor or of any sort. And now he's pretty much going to be the head pastor of Triumph. So Jacob felt some kind of way about that. So he pretty much is saying that, next time, actually let me know what's going on. Just don't put me out there like that. He said that, look, and the Bishop Skanks was like, look, I can't hold back when God calls me to do something. At that moment, God called me, and what happened. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but like he said, look, when the anointing of the Lord is in the air, you got to respond. And he was saying that, you mean to tell me that God at that moment called you to make me the head of the church? And he's like, yeah, exactly. He's like, I don't believe it. Then the next thing you know, we saw a totally different side of Bishop Skanks. We saw the Kanani side. We saw the demonic side. Because then he starts saying that you were nothing but a weed that hid behind everything that your father built. You were pretty much a mutant in his eyes, a man that he didn't respect, a man that he never gave the glory or the gratitude that you deserved. You were pretty much the person that no matter what you did, he always held you under his contempt. And you have the nerve to call me a liar when I'm actually offering you something that your father never gave you. Your father never gave you a platform. Your father never respected you. Your father never, believed in you. And he's like, I'm your brother, and you need to trust me. But don't ever call me a liar, because God's on my side. And I'm like, you know what? He is just as venomous. Like, he's pretty much saying that Bishop James is venomous. This fool is just as venomous, even more so. And Jacob doesn't even realize, like, Jacob, look here. Belshazzar's feast. The writing's on the wall. You just need to read it and adjust. It's obvious this person, Bishop Skanks, don't care about you. You're just a pawn in his overall scheme to take down Calvary. And he's going to use you to take down not only your father, but your entire family. Next, we actually see Grace and Jabari are working on music. We can still see that Jabari is still flirting with Charity, and Charity is totally heads over heels. Because Charity, for a while, hasn't felt that relationship thing, because now her and Kevin right now are on the skids. Grace comes in to talk to her, and I think Grace peeped the fact that Jabari is feeling Charity, but she didn't say anything, because, Grace is very observant. her and Grace talk, and she lets Grace know what's going on, that they want to file Carlton, and the half of the deacon board don't want to pay their fees, and Miss Wilcox don't want to pay for enough, doesn't want to stop contributing. So it's like it's really putting the church in this big financial mess. But I don't want to get rid of Carlton, and then Charity's like, yeah, I don't want to get rid of him either. So she pretty much says that, look, I'll talk to Mom and see if I can smooth this over, because pretty much, Mom will listen to you. She's not going to listen to me, because, Grace knows that her mother hates her. So Charity says, I'll go and talk to her and try to smooth this over. And she thanks Grace for including her. Next we see Lady May and Bishop James. They're pretty much doing some work on some stuff. They're talking about some guy, Lionel or whatever, taking over a position at Greenleaf. Then they get a call, and the call was, actually Lady May gets a call, and it's Matt. Matt tells her something. She's like, oh, so what? You think I'm gonna stop what I'm doing to come over there? Don't call me again. And I don't know why. Like, well, thank you for letting me know, but at the end of the day, we're not family, and I don't want you calling me. So she hangs up on Matt. She comes to find out, she pretty much reports that her father is going to die today. So he's asking to be taken off of everything. So he's ready to die. And pretty much Bishop, and then pretty much within that, Bishop James is like, don't you think you need to go there and actually, pretty much bury the hatchet and make good with your father? And she's like, I made good with him when he pretty much decided to drop the case, and that he decided to free you. That's all I care about. I'm like, yeah, but you don't want to tell what you had to do to make sure he dropped that case. Which, with that alone, makes me suspicious. Is Grace really Bishop Greenleaf's daughter? Which can explain why she hates Grace so much. Just in time we'll find that out. I could be completely wrong, but hey, I just had to throw that out there. So next we actually see that Charity does meet up with Lady May, and she pretty much kind of smooths her over with semantics and says that you have nothing to worry about. This is no discussion. We're trying to make sure that us letting him go, it has nothing to do with him being gay, and that it's all about finances. We're trying to cut things left and right, and then she tried to say that even you working with Jabari, that the guy is asking for $50,000. That's a lot of money, and all of this stuff. So I'm like, Lady May is completely full of it, and is using this as somewhat of a plausible reason to let go of Carlton, when she really has no reason to let go of Carlton. The only reason why you want to let go of him is because the deacons aren't performing like they're supposed to, and this big money lady, Miss Wilcox. We actually saw Miss Wilcox in season 1 when she brought her granddaughter to get baptized, and she did it without the consent of the mother or the father, but because of who she was and because of her connections to the bishop, Grace went ahead and baptized the baby. So we already see that Miss Wilcox is really messy, and definitely she got money. So because they're not getting money from her, now this is making Lady May really jump at the fact, oh, we got to get rid of him because he's messing with the coin. But then she pretty much just smooths Charity over and says that everything's going to be okay. I'm pretty sure it'll all work itself out. Next, we actually see that Isaiah actually responds back to Sophia, and that he agrees to meet her. So, but Sophia asks She actually asked Zora to go with her, and Zora was like, "I'm not going." Girl, you know I'll go with you. What you talking about? I'm like, yes, this is a boy she's never met before. You should go together. She shouldn't go by herself meeting him for the first time. So they go to Triumph where he's rehearsing, um, and Sophia is just head over heels for him. But something is up with this boy. I don't know if any of you peeped it, but I peeped something ain't right with Isaiah, because all of a sudden Isaiah starts flirting with Zora and kind of like is very dismissive to Sophia, when Sophia's the one that really has a crush on him. And of course Zora, who personally I don't think was trying to flirt with him, but she came off as flirting, but that's just how Zora is. But Zora's kind of intrigued as well that he's kind of giving her that eye. But it's making me think he trying to get his thing wet. And the question is he what kind of boy is he? What kind of aim is he playing? Is he trying to just hit it and quit it, or is he a person that's trying to take it? I guess that's left to be determined. But yeah, I kind of peeped that about him. He seemed like he real anxious to put his thing in something. So yeah, I got my eye on you, Isaiah. And it was kind of messed up because Sophia really likes him, but then he's like he paid really no attention to Sophia when they went to Triumph. Next, we actually see that the bishop actually goes to see Daddy Mac. He says a prayer for him, and then Mac shows up, and him and Mac have a short exchange where he tells Mac that, well, first he's going to ask Daddy McCready about Dale James, because he says that he didn't even know that Bishop Skanks was even his son, because he said he only knew of him having daughters. He never knew he had a son. He's about to ask Daddy McCready about it, but then he got quiet when Mac came in. But I'm like, come on, Bishop. Little do you know, Mac knows everything. So all of a sudden he runs into Mac, and then he pretty much tells Mac that, look, God wants me to forgive you, and maybe one day I will, but I will let you know I may forgive you, but I will never forget. And then pretty much walked away. And then we see Mac go there to his father, and he pretty much rubs his father's head that, you're going to go to heaven to be with the Lord, and he starts crying because, his father's dying. So it seems to me that the only person that he loved was his dad, because they are like one and the same. They're like two peas in a pod. Like father, like son. The father was molesting, Lady May as a child, and Mac is a pedophile. So we see that the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree. So that was pretty much obvious in that scene. After that, we actually see that Kevin is going through Calvary. Viola, who's Danielle Turner's mom, grandmother, who's like the secretary, she pretty much wanted to give like her baby shower gift. Pretty much she gave her like a gift to him in charity for the new baby. And then she lets him know that, oh yeah, I'm sorry about the baby's rash. I hope everything's going to work out. So he didn't even know that his baby had a rash. And that makes him feel some kind of way. Next we actually see that he's at his fortitude group, where pretty much it's like men who are battling with their identities and their, not just sexuality, but their well-being. So he pretty much is saying that, I'm trying to get things right with my wife, but I found out that my child had a rash and I didn't even know anything about it. And he was saying that, look, you need to step up to the plate. You're waiting for her to respond to you. You have to be the man, and maybe that's what she's waiting for you to be the man and just let her know what's up. And we see later on he does do that. He does confront Charity. They go back and forth, and eventually they actually kind of reminisce and start talking about good times, and they reconnect, and then she offers him that he can actually spend the night. Next we actually see Bishop Skanks' wife takes Carissa to a house that they used to own that now uh, Jacob and Carissa's gonna live in. And Carissa was not here for it. She was pretty much getting all kind of looks like, I'm so not for this. I mean, one, they live in that big old mansion to go live into a regular house, but then on top of it, it's a hand-me-down house from Bishop Skanks and his wife works in real estate, so they will be paying rent to Bishop Skanks as well as working for Bishop Skanks. Yeah, okay. And the first lady was just so adamant too. She's like, "Oh yes, I used to live here, and we had did a lot of work on it, and we're gonna, we're gonna put it together for you guys too." And Carissa's just it's like Carissa is starting to kind of peep it a little bit that something ain't right with this whole Skanks family or with this whole situation, but she's choosing to be in Jacob's corner. Next we actually, so I did mention that Grace does hang out with David Nash. They go out dancing, and she kind of tells him off the record about what's going on with Carlton at the church. And we actually see that that there is some chemistry between the two of them. And but before they meet up, her and Grace and Charity have a discussion again about Carlton, and she pretty much tells her that, look, I'm not trying to go on this long parade about this whole thing with Carlton. Like, look, I can't do this anymore. I just can't, and I'm not going to. And this is Charity speaking in regards to the situation. And I'm thinking, yo, girl, I thought Carlton was your boy. I thought Carlton was like your ace. What happened? But then again, it's like, she's stressed out after the fact because of Kevin. So now that she's dealing with that situation with Kevin, it's kind of putting her on the fence of how to deal with Carlton. And I'm like, girl, you should have been getting whole like, yo, we're going to lead a protest. We're going to do whatever we got to do to help this man keep his job. But then she's just like, look, it's out of our hands. There's nothing we can do. But Grace, I think, is planting a seed. And I think this is where Darius comes in. Because I think Darius may write something that will expose it, and they may, and then, but yeah, I'm going to get more into that and what goes on with that. Oh yeah, I did talk about that already. Next, we actually see that, Lady May and Bishop James, they pretty much talk about Jacob, and that, and Lady May is saying that, look, you need to talk to him, and you need to tell him the truth about Bishop Skanks. I don't know what's going on with you and why you're not doing this, but you need to have a conversation with your son. Why are you so hard on him? Because all he ever wanted to do was please you. And then the bishop flipped it on May, and she was like, first of all, you was always pushing that boy up on me, all because you just couldn't deal with the fact that you're jealous of your own daughter. And I was like, whoa, I was so here for that, because she is jealous of Grace. I mean, we saw it at that women's convention last season when she was trying to set the whole thing up for her to become the new head of the church, but everybody wanted Grace. And you literally saw her ego literally get attacked while she's at the podium. It was so funny. But it's like, it's true. She is jealous of Grace. And he was like, look. And then she was like, look, you need to tell your son the truth about Bishop Skanks. Or do you love yourself enough? Or do you love your son enough to even tell him the truth? So I was like, oh, man. Next, we actually see that Jacob and the bishop finally meet, and he pretty much asks him about his new job, and, the bishop's about to tell him, but immediately Jacob goes into attack mode. Like, look, I don't want to hear no more about your conspiracy theories about Bishop Skanks. I don't want to no longer hear anything because, Dad, I don't get it. It seemed to me that you just want to have control over everything. Like, what do you really want? You don't want me preaching. You don't, and then on top of it, you don't want me working with Skanks. You obviously got issues involved in that. And then you want to put me out the house. Like, what do you want? What do you really want? But I'm going to tell you this, though, Dad. Bishop Skanks may not be perfect, but at least he's not a false prophet. I was like, drop the mic. I was like, whoa. It's like you literally talked down everything about your dad. Like, everything your father did was under false pretenses. Like, he pretty much is like, I'm not with you, screw you, we done. So after that, we actually see he met with Carissa, and he pretty much says that, look, he doesn't respect me as a pastor, he doesn't respect me as his son, and he doesn't respect me as a man. So I know you don't want to move in that house, but we getting the hell up out of here. So we see that's what's going to go down. Next, after that, we see that Lady Mae decides to meet up with Carlton. And in this meeting, she politely fires him, but does it under the false pretense that it's a financial decision. And Carlton's listening to her, and Carlton's like, you are so full of it, woman. So Carlton begins to let her know, asks her the question, do you think gay marriage is a bad thing? And she's like, well, I believe what the Bible says, but that doesn't mean that I don't love you. I'm like, Lady Mae, you are extremely messy, and there is a special place in hell for you that you were doing this, because the only reason why you're letting him go is because your favorite contributor is no longer contributing to the church because she's homophobic. And instead of actually addressing this the way you should, you're pretty much shunning a person who's actually contributing something to the church, who works diligently with the church. You're going to turn on this person because of his lifestyle. And you guys knew he was gay when you hired him. But I love Carlton because Carlton is such a real man, because he let it be known that, so you mean to tell me that this has nothing to do with me being gay, that this is just all for financial reasons? And she's like, well, yes. And he says, I don't believe you. And I'm going to be honest with you. There is something broken in your soul, and I pray to God that it heals. But thank you, and you enjoy the rest of your day. I was like, get it, Carlton. You got my respect, brother. And the funny thing about it, Grace goes to his house after she finds out about this, because Lady Mae goes to her office and pretty much goofs like, yeah, I got rid of him. He's gone. To God be the glory. I'm like, see, that's why I can't stand Lady Mae, because she's so messy and so trifling at times. But Grace goes to Carlton's house, and he's there with his husband Derek. And if I mention his name, I'll put it down in the comments. But they both working on the car together, which I loved that they did this, because it shows that do not stereotype gay men. All gay men are different, and all gay men are just regular men. Here they are, two men who are married, but they're working on the car together. Derek's under the hood and Carlton is under the car. And I'm like, oh, check y'all out. I was so loving that. And they were so not here for it, but then he pretty much tells Grace, I'm not going to sue. But she said that, look, do not make this stop you from coming to the church, because the church needs you. So I'm like, Grace got something up her sleeve. She ain't taking this lying down. Next, we actually see that Jacob finally moves out of the house, and Lady Mae kind of walks by Grace and is like, Betty Wilcox just made a big donation. And she's like, congratulations. But Grace ain't for it. Grace like, I'm about to flip this on your behind, because you really think you slick. But then we actually see, while he's at the gate, he hesitates at first, but then he decides to keep on going. So now Jake is now out of the Greenleaf complex. So that's my review for Greenleaf. Subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and I will be back next week for the next episode of Greenleaf. And until then, everybody, take care.